Next movie up, Life. This is another biography kind of about James Dean. It's more or less a biography about the famous photographer from Life magazine who photographed James Dean rather than James Dean himself. It's sort of almost 50-50, but more towards the photographer's life.
映画に行きたい気分です。楽しみにしています。
This is a good human interest story. It shows James Dean as being your regular kid or your regular guy, because a lot of this film footage takes place in the farm where James Dean's at home, and he seems more relaxed, more of himself here. In the city, he seems to be like a crazy guy that doesn't really fit into anything, which is projected in the way he did his movie work. I'll be honest, I've never seen a James Dean movie. I've just seen the famous segments from it. I have no idea. I know he's a great actor from these segments I've seen, but I don't know. I've never seen the entire movies. And, let's see, the photographer, in this movie, the photographer wants the magazines to finance his walking around this upcoming actor. He's not really greatly big at that time, but he's on his way, and this photographer, he realizes this is something big here. I should get in there and start photographing this guy and build a big portfolio on James Dean, because he's going to be big. Because there's like a new wave movement occurring in the United States at the time. Culture, attitude, everything's changing, and the photographer, as he said, realized that James Dean is part of this new movement. So we see him following James Dean, and he gets these photographs of James Dean walking through a rainstorm. This is a very famous photographs of James Dean walking through a rainstorm in Manhattan. It's just like a cut piece. This is 7 months before James Dean was killed in a horrific car accident. He was traveling down the road, and I forgot what he called the car, a little bitch or something like that. It was a gray sports car, very, very fast. And he's traveling down the highway with a guy sitting beside him, I guess a friend or something like that. A workmate, but also a friend. And some guy coming down the road towards him cut in front to go up a little road, and James Dean had to swerve out of the way, which for some of you who know this, me personally, I know that you don't turn a tiny car too quickly because they will flip over, and that's exactly what happened to James Dean. And it was a convertible. There was no protection at all for his head or the upper parts of his body, and the car flipped like crazy, and that was the end of the actor. But it shows James Dean as being not this crazy, wild, fierce guy, but this really friendly farm type of guy, and the movie works in that way. And and it shows his interaction and his relationship with this actor. Shows his interaction with this photographer, and the photographer brings out the reality of who James Dean was, and it's a good human interest story. There wasn't they played it at the theater as an indie film, and it had a low audience turnout. Must have been 10 of us, but it was played for 2 weeks by the time I got in there to see it. Playing for about 2 weeks, so the audience turnout was kind of low, maybe 10. I'd recommend it as a piece of history, as a good insight into James Dean. You got to remember that this movie plays as a docudrama. The director was not there in James Dean's house to see what was going on or how the family reacted. He was basing his movie upon what the photographer had said about the incidents and had wrote about the incidents, all the recorded material, and secondary knowledge to put together this film, so it is not like a biography. I would recommend that if you're into James Dean and the history of James Dean, and because if this was actually what James Dean was like, you know, you can understand that he was. It seemed like the James Dean in the movie, the movies that he did, and the James Dean in this film, almost like the reality of his life, seemed like two different things. Seemed like two different people. But, you know, he was just acting and he could act. But the reality of the home life is totally different. He was a complete introvert and wanted to keep to himself, wanted to be on the farm. He just didn't want. He loved acting as a career and a job, but James Dean just could not, like most actors and singers, didn't like the stardom that comes with it, the photography, the interviews, the dealing with the fan base. It was just difficult. That was very difficult for an introvert like James Dean to handle, and it projected very well in this movie.